Okay, so we're back with another alumni profile here, and tonight we're bringing in Max WG, as he's famously known in Saratoga. Um, and Max is going to probably bring a little bit different perspective because a lot of the guys that we talked to so far were people who joined the track and cross country program pretty early on in middle school or early on in high school. Um, and they're also guys who, and I know Max won't take this the wrong way, but they were guys who were, state level runners or things like that. And Max joined later on. It was the end of your junior year, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
started
that's
in
right.
on track, and really just ran the full senior year after that. And while Max's PRs may be a little bit modest compared to some of the guys that we've talked to so far, I think you're going to get a really good sense of he's an All-American really when it comes to character and work ethic and a lot of things that we really value very highly in the program. So I wanted to make sure Max was a big part of our interview. So Max, I'll turn it over to you. You want to share a little bit about your high school athletic experience and in particular track and cross country?
Yeah, absolutely. So thanks so much for having me here. I've been
Yeah, of
enjoyed
course.
watching these.
Yeah.
Um, so my athletic career in high school, I started out doing baseball and volleyball and Nordic skiing, and those are all great sports. I had a lot of fun. So I was on a lot of different teams, and some of those teams had a really good team culture, and others didn't. And I definitely knew that teamwork and having a good team atmosphere was important to me. So I had heard great things about the track program and decided to join during my junior year. And I definitely lived up to the reputation. Um, and that was definitely the biggest takeaway from track. And I think you've been hearing it with all the other people who have been interviewed, is that the team culture and the teammates you have there are just phenomenal. Um, so I joined track spring of my junior year, and then I did cross country, indoor, and outdoor the next year. And so my highlights from those 4 seasons, in terms of running, my biggest highlight was breaking 5 in the mile. So I had been running with the B group, and we were all sort of around the same training times in the winter.
Right.
And I looked down at the sheet one day and realized that the times that you were using for my workouts were to get 5 in the mile. And so I asked you if that was a goal that I could work towards, and you said yes. And I was pretty shocked when I looked at that. So as an entire group, we kind of started training to break 5 together.
Yeah,
And we got to Bethlehem in the spring, and it was just absolutely pouring rain.
it was a
And
terrible day. Yeah.
it was an awful day. And Sam Getz actually came up to a bunch of us who have been training to break 5, and Sam had broken it a bunch of times. And he said, "All right, you guys are breaking 5 today. I'm gonna pace you for the first 3, and then on the last lap, you're gonna be on your own." And together as a group, we all broke 5 on the same day,
That was
which
pretty
was
exciting.
phenomenal.
Yeah, so it was who else was in that group? It was you, it was Brad Aiken,
It was Brad
um,
Aiken.
Sam, was I feel like Christian Mercado was actually a part of that
He
group.
was.
He was like on the younger side, but I think that might have been the first time he broke 5 in that race as well. I know a lot of guys ran exceptionally well in that race considering the conditions. That's where my one of my favorite memories of Parker Scully when he's standing in the line after and he does that funny like arm raise celebration. I think he ran about 5:15 or 5:20, but that was a huge PR for him too. But it was a product of that. It was almost like a cross country race the way you guys ran it, how you kind of packed it up and you just worked together and just competed really well with each other. That was definitely a fun race for sure.
Yeah,
Um,
I have great memories of that. And then I think Henry Grosclose missed that race because he has a doctor's appointment or something, but he was part of our training group. So then
yeah,
the next meet, we all kind of did the same thing for him and paced him for the first 3, and then he
right,
broke it that
right,
time.
yeah. I mean, you fit in. I mean, it reminds me of like in Forrest Gump when he talks about how he fit into the army like one of those square pegs and or round peg into a hole or something. And I mean that's the way you fit into the track program. I mean you were voted as a selected as a captain going into your senior year of cross country and you'd only been on the team for 1 season, so you literally had never run cross country before. You had no
Yeah,
experience in the sport, and the coaching staff felt that it was a no-brainer to make you a captain on the team. So I mean I think that's a major credit to your your work ethic and your character, and why you fit in so well, you know?
Thank you. Yeah, that was a huge honor. And yeah, so that was probably breaking five was the most memorable running experience.
Hmm.
But then the most memorable kind of off the track experience that I had with the program was during an indoor meet. So right after cross country had ended,
Yeah.
it was during winter break, and a bunch of the guys who were in college came home to watch one of the indoor meets. And a few of the older guys, I think it was Aiden Tooker and Ethan North, came up to me and they said, we heard that you were a captain this fall with cross country, and we're taking some of the younger guys under your wing, and we really appreciated that. And I think that was a huge moment for me because when I
Yeah.
joined track, they were the big dogs, and they were kind of the
Sure.
guys taking me under their wing. So for them to come up and thank me like that was pretty incredible.
So they would have been seniors your first season when you were a junior.
Yeah,
Yeah. So that is cool. I mean, and then that's a credit to, I mean, it's obviously a credit to you, but it's also a credit to the the culture of the alumni, and looking down the line, and making sure that things are kind of going the way they should be going, even after they're graduated. It was funny you say that, because Max Fredette was running a couple weeks ago, and he was thrilled that he saw you up running through Skidmore, and it's kind of the same thing, like to see the older guys back and around, and being supportive, even though you guys really couldn't interact much because of the current situation we're in. He was pretty thrilled just to see you running through campus. So it's cool. You want to switch gears a little bit and talk about your experience after graduating from Saratoga, what you've been doing in college the last couple of years?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I go to Northeastern University. I'm a junior there, and I
Hmm.
study politics, philosophy, and economics. And it's actually all one major. I'm not triple majoring in or anything crazy like that. um, and so my first semester there, I joined the club running team, and I did club running for a semester. But then there were some other extracurriculars I wanted to do, and
Hmm.
they conflicted. So I ended up taking a break from running. Um, it turned out those extracurriculars didn't go so well. That kind of team environment that I really like in track. In some other areas like student government, people didn't really get along so well. So I definitely grew to miss that team atmosphere again. And so I joined club running again this year, and it's been phenomenal. Um, so club running is definitely a little bit of a different feel than track in high school. You don't have coaches, and you don't have to show up every day. It's always on you to get yourself to practice. And once you get to practice, you don't have to do a workout. You don't have to do the exact workout that everyone else is doing. The accountability really comes from you rather than from a coach.
Yeah.
So that was a pretty big adjustment. But yeah, I run a few races with the club team there, and I've loved it.
Can you, I mean, even though, like you said, it's different in terms of maybe the accountability factor, can you just talk about, like, because this has been a common thread. So I've been hitting on this in a lot of the interviews, just the similarities in the relationships that you found to be really valuable, whether it was when you first joined in, at Saratoga, or just kind of finding your way back through running with a group of people at Northeastern.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, teammates are the most important thing. Running is really hard, and some
Yeah.
days it feels great, but some days it's a little bit of a chore. Some days your legs feel like lead, and it's tough
Right.
to get going. And so having people there to do it with you and to push you through and motivate you is absolutely key. And whenever you can be that for someone else, you definitely should as well. Without a coach there, either you have to keep yourself accountable to staying on your schedule and becoming a better runner, or your teammates really have to step up, and that community has to step up even more to keep you motivated, to make sure you're sticking to your training plan and getting better and better. And so not having a coach there can actually bring the team closer together sometimes, and make sure that you guys are holding each other accountable.
Yeah, I think that's huge. I mean, and I think that's really what makes, an organic, the coach is important, and obviously I must believe that that's what I do with my life for the most part. But it has to be organic from the kids on the team, from the athletes, to believe in each other and trust each other and support each other. Because if it doesn't come from the guys or the girls on the team, then it's just not going to be something that's truly believed in. So that's a really important part of this. So I'm glad that you brought that up. Um, so can you maybe talk a little bit about your maybe plans for the future, goals, things that you hope to do after graduating from Northeastern?
So after graduation, I'm hoping to go on to law school and then do public service of some type. I'm not quite sure what yet. Hopefully figuring that out during law school.
That'll be pretty exciting. I think you're going to be perfect for whatever path you go down, especially in that public service field.
Thank you.
All right. So just to wrap up, do you have any advice for the current guys on the team, whether it be the situation we're in now with the coronavirus and training on your own, or just maybe big picture sort of life advice?
Yeah, so life advice is don't take it for granted. I know a few other guys have said that too, but this program is amazing. So enjoy it while you're there. And then as far as, the current situation and being in quarantine, if you can, sticking to a schedule can help sometimes, especially with training. If you know that running is the first thing you do every morning, it's a great way to start off your day. Or if you know that, at 2:30, you want to stick to your normal running schedule and go every day at 2:30, that can be a huge way to kind of make it part of your routine.
Yeah, I think that's great. And my brother talked a little bit about your routine and sort of how that familiarity and with what you're comfortable, it's going to help not only in your training, but as you continue to compete and things like that too. Just kind of knowing, how you go about your process and your business and the best way to sort of accomplish those things. All right, Maxwell, I really appreciate you taking the time to sit down with us and share some advice and some experiences. And hopefully we'll get together and talk soon in person.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much for having me.
All right, you got it.